Hey, Shani. Actually, first, if you want to say your name is spelled Yanina, do you want to say how it's pronounced?
Yeah, sure. My name, you can say Yanina, how I will say my name, but it's okay if you also say Yanina.
Great. So I'm trying to let's talk a little bit about how we met. How did we first meet?
I think it was because Code for Science and Society. We both got an event grant from them, and we share some of their meetings as grantees. And yeah, we chat there, and we had the opportunity to know each other, and then we just continue having meetings and catch up and sharing resources. So yes, was in Code for Science and Society.
That's true. And now I remember in June of 2021, Data Umbrella organized the Latin America scikit-learn sprint, and I had reached out to you to help spread the word and ideas on how to connect with the Latin America community. So you were very helpful with that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So hang on. Okay. So to start, do you want to share what what communities that you are a part of?
Okay. Well, most of my involvement in international communities come from the R community, from the R world, the programming languages. And I start being part of R Ladies as a very important community for me. And then I create some community in Latin America, for example, LatinR, which is start as a conference, but we believe that is a community. And then I also participate at rOpenSci, and now I'm the community manager of rOpenSci, and I have been part of other different groups related with R, like minorities in R forwards, and the people who organize other conferences like USAR. So yeah, a lot of R in my life in the community aspect. And then more locally, I'm part of several community related with research and research software development. So some of them are professional association, and other are also group of people who get together to do interesting things or things that we enjoy together here in Argentina. I'm based in Argentina, in South America.
Okay, and you're also a part of the Carpentries as well, right?
Yes, of course. I'm part of the Carpentries, that more related with education and also, yes, computational skills, right? I start as an instructor, like we all do. Then I become a trainer, and now I'm part of the Executive Council. And yes, I mostly teach in Spanish, workshops and instructor trainers. So I try to teach people how to teach, so they can do that also in Latin America in their native language.
Right. Yeah, teaching people how to teach has such a compounding impact, right?
Yes, yes, and the material that carpentry have is so practical. It is based in evidence, but you can see an immediate impact in the way you teach. You can see the improvement. So it's really nice when you have this science translate to action. And I think that carpentries do that very, very well.
Yeah. So how did you first become, when and how did you first become involved in the R community?
Was in 2017. I remember that because that same years I create Santa Rosa Our Ladies chapter here in my city. But the thing was through Twitter, actually. And I say with kind of sad because of what's happening in that network. I leave Twitter some weeks ago. Definitely. I mean, I stopped interacting several months ago, and I just don't log in anymore. But I was checking my timeline, and I see a blog post from a person from Uruguay, Daniela Vázquez, and she talked about Our Ladies and how she get involved doing translations, how she co-founded Buenos Aires Our Ladies chapter, the capital in my country. So I start follow her, and I start to pay attention, and at some point Buenos Aires has their first event, and I asked for the material of that event, and they answer me saying, here's the material, do you want to create a chapter in your city? And I say yes. And that is how everything starts. So yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's worth accentuating that a lot of people were connected through Twitter. You know, social media has had such a profound impact on it. By the way, I have an invite to Blue Sky if you would like it. So let me know.
Okay.
Yeah? All right, I'll send it to you after this webinar. But yes,
Awesome.
it's really been instrumental in connecting, you know, people in the tech community. You know, why did you get involved in the community, and like how is it important to you?
Yeah, for me, I was a researcher for 24 years. And in the institution that I work, what we call transfer and extension of science is a very important aspect. So we really value to bring the science we do to the people who will use it, and also the beneficiary of our research are part of our decision table. They are sit in our the board of director at national, regional, and local level. So we have this interaction with the people who will use what we do. And also I'm a person who comes from a humble home, and I was able to get a university education because we have free and public education. So teach to other people computing skills, that is my degree, and the things that I do was a way to give back, and was a way to people use what I was developing as a researcher. So I come from the computer science world, and I build platform software and data products. So for me, it was important that that is useful, that really has a goal and a practical use for the people in my city, in my region, in my country. And I found that community has a huge impact in that way. You can offer for free skills and knowledge and information firsthand, an opportunity to your local community. So I think that is it changed my life personally, and I think that provide a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. Sometimes when you are in the global south, as I am, and at that point in 2017, I didn't speak English. So the way that you can access informations or opportunities, collaborations are scarce because you have a lot of barriers. And the art community, through Our Ladies at the beginning, give me a safe space to make mistake with my language, a safe space for make silly, and I go to use the this sign that is silly questions, like they are not silly questions, but sometimes you feel like, oh my God, this is so basic. Should I be asking this? And have a safe space where you know that if you do this basic question, someone will answer you, very happy to help you about that. And not only in things related with the language, but also about cultural things, about opportunities, about information, how I write a good grant, how I apply for a scholarship, how should I communicate this aspect of my life to the international community. So there are a lot of aspects, not only the computational skills. And because of this community, I reach several others. So I start to be aware about developments, about this, for example, these teaching practices from Carpentries, and you start to have a more wide world, a more big world that you can be part. And then you start to realize that you can be as good as anyone there. So you can be part and you can contribute with useful contributions. I mean, you can be part of that. And sometimes that is not so clear for some of us. So yeah, I found in community a way to have a huge impact, and sometimes a faster impact that you have in other kind of activity.
How would you define community?
For me, it's a group of people who enjoy doing something, and they get together to help each other, to learn and to enjoy about that something they enjoy. And for me, it's very important the group aspect, like a place where you feel okay, you feel part. For me, belonging is important, and that you feel important, you feel that people cares about you and you grow, and as a professional, as in personal aspect. Yes, a place where you can go not only to learn, but to share, and that you feel okay and you feel part of.
That's great. That's a great definition. So you belong to a lot of different communities. We can focus on the art community here. How do you contribute to the art community? Some examples.
Yeah, my first contribution was to organize a chapter here. So the people who wants to learn or share things about art can get together and share what they know. So here we organize meetings. Sometimes we have only one meetings in the month, and sometimes we have several. For example, when we do workshops, that usually is 4 or 5 weekly meetings where we go through basic stuff or more advanced stuff, depending on the person who are going to deliver the workshop. Then the other things, I want one of the co-founder of LatinR, the conference. So we create a conference about art here in Latin America. It is a trilingual event. So we speak Spanish, Portuguese, and English because are the main language in Latin America. So I have been organizing, being chair of the conference since the beginning. We are in the 6th year running this, and this year is going to be in Uruguay, in Montevideo. We go back to in-person meeting, so that is another contribution. Then I as community manager of rOpenSci, I run the Champions program. So we also select people from marginalized or historical excluded group. We pair them with a mentor. We also training them how to contribute to open source, how to build packages, how to become a reviewer of software, so they can be part of the rOpenSci community. And I also do a lot of translations to Spanish, but not only translate material to my native language so more people can access. Language is a huge barrier, but I also contribute to create infrastructure to do translation. So for rOpenSci, with the team at rOpenSci, Mael, Elio, Paola, and now Pedro from Brazil, we create a set of packages, a workflow and translation guidelines to do rOpenSci translation, but for others community to use too. So I have been involved in translate books for how to teach, the R4DS book, some data too. So that becomes really useful material for teaching. And for the groups that are in Latin America, you can have your event using everything in your native language, in Spanish. So you don't have to rely on English material in order to create the event or to do the workshop or to give your students, if you are a university professor or someone who teach about these skills. So yeah, and then if some user group, our ladies chapter or our user group, or some universities invite me to give a talk, I usually do, no charge. So I try to also to give back in that way.
You're involved in so many things. I sometimes wonder if you have extra hours in your days than other people do. Because I see you doing it, like, how do you do it?
I will tell you my secret, if you allow me. Two things that help me to do all these things. First, I never do this alone. I'm always lucky enough to be part of amazing teams of people. So it's not that every single things that I say to you, I'm the only one who made this. So I'm part of a team of people who do this effort, and I have the privilege to be one of the members of those teams. And then it's my family. They know that I love doing this, and they help me organizing the time, splitting the task at home, and even my kids, I'm working from home now, even they know my schedules. And so today I was working and they were here doing school homework, and yeah, my family is also a big support to be able to be present in my community when I need it, and with them when I also have to do it.
Great. So, what are like 3 things that are so important to you that over and over again?
Can you repeat? I lost a little bit.
Yeah. What are 3 things that maybe the 3 priorities that keep you back to the community again and again?
The 3 main things that
keep you coming back to the
yes. Well, I think that that being part of this team, like-minded people, people that have this goal to improve the reality of their communities. And I mean, we have these same goals too. I will summarize that we all trying to get a better world. We want to improve the local and the global community that we live, and to know that we share some values about how we want that world to be is something that bring me coming here. Yes, I want to be part of that. I want to put my my beat on improving that world. So I hope that my kids can live in a better world than the one that I have. That is something that I think we can do through community. The other thing is the measurable impact that you have. I mean, as a researcher, I see changes because of the work we do in 24 years, and with community, the impact is in 2-3 years. You can see how other people's life change in a positive way. So you can measure those positive changes almost immediately. I mean that you can expect 20 years for a change in society on how we work on, and when you see it in a more short time, it's kind of, okay, this is worth it. We can see we can do some of the things faster, and that is good, that is cool. And the other thing is the challenge. I feel a challenge every day to do things that I never thought that I could be able to do. So, I mean, now I'm here speaking with you in English, feeling very comfortable because we know each other too. But you know that I have this, I'm not still so confident with this second language because I learned it 6-7 years ago. So I'm kind of new to do this. And I never thought that I could be doing this or could be being the community manager of an international global community as rOpenSci, that I'm so glad and so happy to doing that work. That challenged me every single day. You know, I have one mentor who teach me this idea of the 3 payments. So you have a payment that go to your pocket, the money, the one who pays the bills, the one we all need. A payment on your heart, how what you do makes you feel. That makes you feel good. Do you think that is useful? Do you are improving the life of others? And then the payment in the brain, how challenged this is, how much you learn, how much you grow because of the tasks you are doing. And I think that community gives me the 3 payments in a very high rate. So I get that.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's, you know, it's definitely worth extenuating that community work can also, like, we learn a lot of different skills from that. And as well, like there's all these opportunities for leadership skills as well that sometimes aren't the same opportunities that are available at the work, at the current, say, employment position. But, you know, the community work can help like build those skills as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, we talked a bit about, you know, all the positive, the fun aspects of community. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges of community. So, you know, what are that you've observed in community, or, you know, some sort of problems that are out there that are worth sort of acknowledging and discussing?
Yes, of course. We are talking about community are built by people. Yeah, the people and the connection between them is what the community is. So as we are persons, we are going to have disagreements. We are going to have different motivations. We are going to have different goals. And that can become point of challenge. Yeah, point of, how you say, yeah, where you disagree and you need to discuss and yeah, point of disagreement. And so that happens in every single human activity. So community are not lacking that. So we are going to have these issues too. For me, the one of the biggest one is that this community of practice related with technology and open source rely a lot on volunteer work. So, and when I say volunteer work, I mean people do this and don't get paid money for doing. A lot of us found other kind of payment, as I just say. We find this useful, fulfilling for us in other aspect, but you need to pay the bills. So at some points, the amount of time that you can give to the community will change according how your life situation change. And it's not only that perhaps you need to work more because of the money, but perhaps you become a mom, as happens to me. So then you are not going to have so much time to give to the community. So I think we need to discuss and find ways to try to balance or try to find ways to have more people participate or be able to participate if they want to and to contribute, and the volunteer aspect has a lot to do with that. So and I'm not saying that paying for everything is the solution, because I don't see that can be possible in the short run. Perhaps we need to think about that in the long run. Perhaps I will, for example, in this situation that I'm today, I will say, don't pay me, allow me to contribute, volunteer, for example, for Our Ladies or for Carpentries, that I don't get paid for volunteer there, because I have another job that allow me to do that. It's not that what I do for Carpentries, I do in rOpenSci time. Not, I do in my free time, but I have that free time because I have this job that allow me to do this. Perhaps to say, okay, allow me to do this volunteer and pay other people who can't volunteer. So we have more diverse voices. The other things that I see is that because of this volunteer aspect and because how the culture of the community are, we tend to burn out some of our members. So we put a lot of expectations and a lot of requests over people who do this because they love it. But they have a family, they have another job, they have other responsibilities, they have a life to take care, plus this work in community. So how we take care our members to don't reach the burnout aspect. That is something that we need to also discuss on how we function as a technology community. The other thing is the recognition of the contribution and how we value. The community that have this open source aspect usually value a lot coding contribution, and the other type of contribution are kind of second class activities. And I'm not saying that it is really hard to compare, but organizing a conference is a lot of work. And I would like to be so valued as doing a lot of commit to a software. And other kind of contribution to, we need to rethink how we value and how we recognize those contributions. So the people who do that get the credit that they deserve. And the other things in that, all of these are related with my experience. And the other thing is how we create sustainable community where the transition of power is smoothly done. That's also sometimes hard. The founders and the leaderships and the core teams and the governance. And yeah, sometimes what happened is that the idea was small and then grow up so fast that you are fighting with the pains of this faster grow, and you don't know how to handle that. And sometimes that burn out the people who start. And I think we should be grateful with the people who start this initiative and this community and take care of them so they don't burn out. I'm going to say this again. They don't leave the community with a bad feeling when they create something useful and that are impacting a lot of people's life. And that happens in almost all this community that I know. That happens at some point. So I will really like that we discuss and talk and create tools to manage the human aspect of community, not only the tech aspect of community, because you can manage that, and if we have clear rules, or we learn how to do that. I'm pretty proud. I'm pretty proud of the process of transition of leadership that we did at Our Ladies. It took a lot of job, but I think that we achieved a smooth transition of leadership power, because that is transition of power. And when you are talking about power, there is always how you say, it is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, transition of powers are very, they're very choppy waters because, you know, I've seen this over and over where a community starts very small and in a wonderful way, it grows. And in the beginning, it's almost a little too small for a formal governance plan, and it has to grow with it. And then at some point, it's, you know, it is difficult for the transition. So you just mentioned that you have successfully done a transition for a very large community. Are there some tips that you would give other communities on, you know, and how to, like, even like maybe it's just the top few tips or something on what made it a successful transition?
I think that the base was that the whole team has the willing of the success of the community. So we are all in the same goal. And if that success means to do a change in the leadership, because in the case of Our Ladies, because of the people who create this and found this, was running this for 10 years, which is a lot. So at some point, they also need to take a break, a pretty well-deserved break. But we all have this goal of, let's do the best for the community. And the other thing is trust. We trust that we all want that and that we all will doing the best in our capacity to achieve that goal. So that I will say that is basic, that we are all in an agreement. We want to do this change, and we are all trusting in our capacity, and we are doing the best for the community. And then knowing that it's going to take sometimes, this take a lot of months, I think that a year for us to do the process, because we, some of us were onboarding to learn how the leadership team run the community, so we can be sure that we have access to everything, that we know all the details, that we can actually run the organization. And the previous leadership team, they are available to any questions that we have in case that we face some situation that because it's strange, you don't see it in all this time that we were working together to learning how to run Our Ladies. And then to be very transparent and clear with the wider community on the change and how we are doing to do this announcement all together, the team that are stepping down and the team that are getting the new responsibility. So everything is, you don't have any place to people thinking or creating theories of what is going on. So I think that transparency is also an important aspect of being successful on doing this. And then that the team that will take over with this time that you are seeing how things are running, you have a very clear idea of the time and the complexity that this will take, so you know what you are getting into, because be clear about that is also important, because otherwise it's kind of, hey, I say yes to something and now I'm realizing that it is more big than I realized at the beginning. So with this time, you also are able to know how much time and how much effort you will have to put on the community, and how much help you will need also that help you to decide that. But yes, I will summarize as same goal, really having the same goal, and the trust on the team that are doing that.
Well, congratulations for a successful transition. It is no small feat. So it's nice to see that it's happened, and it's good to know that, you know, that community is well supported moving forward. So congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there an example of you know, when you have left a community, and you know, why you left a community and how you left the community?
I have left some communities, for example, minorities in R, forwards, the user working group, because of time, essentially, because I can, even when you say that I do a lot of things, I step down of several others. I also stopped organizing some local and conferences here in Argentina for SADIO, when the Association of Computer Science Professional, because I can't do everything. So on those one, I retire from this community, letting them know in advance, at least 1 month, so they can also looking for someone who do the things that I used to do, and I can also explain anything or give the credentials or the documents of whatever the people that will take the roles needs to do. And they're mostly a nice way to live, and I appreciate the time that I spend there, the things that I learned, and I truly hope that I did something that was useful and positive for the community too. And then I have some other experience where I live with this sense of I would like to still be part, but I'm not longer being there anymore because I disagree with what is going on in the community. And that are the more painful one, that are the one who give you this sense of I feel like drained. I think that is the word, like this. But sometimes you vote with your feet, right? You don't have other choice, and after you try to discuss, and you see that the disagreement is not you are not going to be in an agreement ever. I think for me the decision is I fight this and perhaps damage the community, or I step down and allow the community to grow, and I look for another space to be able to contribute in the way that I think that we should contribute or do things, another space, and I decide to do that. So for some communities, I to say, okay, I don't feel that this space is for me anymore. I enjoy the ride for the time that lasts. I'm proud of what we did, and was wonderful during this time. We create something amazing, and now it's time for me to looking for that space in other place, and start to build in other place. And for me, that other place was rOpenSci. Not always you need to create something new. You can also join existing community and start contributing and helping there. Don't always need to create a new thing. You can also be part of things that already exist and align with your values, with your way of work, with what you want to create in this world. So yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point, that there are a lot of opportunities for different communities, and if one doesn't work, there's many other, you know, that might be a better fit. So
yes, and it is okay. You know, there are cycles. There are things that start and end, and I think that we all should try to rescue the positive aspect of that moment. I mean, this happens a lot. As a researcher, where you are changing the group of people that you work, I know that sometimes a group of people get together, do amazing things for a period of time, and then for any reasons, for a lot of different reasons, that doesn't work anymore, and you go to other group and you start create there. So it's not the end of the world, and sometimes it's going to be more painful than others when you can compromise, when you can discuss that and to grow over that first disagreement. Sometimes you just can't, and yeah, that is okay too, and can be yes, for me it was painful in some of these experience, but I like to think about the good things we create and the people that I know, and the things that I learn, and the people that I help, that the other aspect that made me leave the community.
Great. Is there anything, you want to share with people? I think there's, like, let's say for people who sort of attend events or, for them to be more involved. Like, is there something that you wish that you had known earlier that you would want other people to know, or you think that people might not know that might be helpful for them to know?
I think that try to find a community that you like the topic or the way they do things, and don't be afraid to ask, to introduce yourself and to ask how you can contribute. And you don't need to be an expert to be part of a community and to start to contribute. You don't even need to speak well the main language of that community. Usually our communities need a lot of people who do some tasks. So there is high chance that some of your skills will match some need of the community. So I will say that if you go to some of all these community that I mentioned and you ask how you can help and you can be part, you are going to get an answer, several options on how you can start to get involved. And the path of each one of us in our communities are going to be different. And I can assure anyone that the path will be like mine. But usually you get a lot of perks to be part of this community. And that benefits come from learning new things, for improve your skills in different aspects, not only technical, to in knowing new people, knowing new organizations, and to have first-hand information on different kind of opportunities. And for me, it's also a source of friendship. I have a lot of new friends that I don't even know in person, but it has helped me a lot in not only in my professional aspect, but also in my personal life. People that are to speak and discuss things that concern me, or to share joy. That is so important, as to get support when things are not going so well. So you also have a bunch of friends there to support you, to go to them to ask for advice, for support, for they enjoy and be happy when you grow too. That is another things that I have in the communities. So I would say that don't be afraid or embarrassed to go to some community and try to start contributing. And if that doesn't work, then go to the other. You are going to find one that suits you very well.
Totally agree on that one.
Nice.